Hello everyone, welcome. How you doing? I already see some people in the house ready to go. I'm excited to have you guys here. My name is Denzel Rodriguez, your personal finance geek of the 21st century. On this channel, we cover the velocity banking concept, infinite banking, and kingdom authority. And today, we're actually not going to be covering any of those concepts. We're going to have a very special guest by the name of Brad Long. I've connected with him through the event called FinCon 2021. So that's going to be today's focus. We're going to be talking about one of the largest financial conferences that get held every single year. And if I'm not mistaken, this has been running for over a decade, according to some of the people that I've been listening to and some of the chats, some of the Facebook chats that I've been in. There was a guy that said that this is going to be his 10th FinCon, 10th or 11th. So that already shows, okay, we're over a decade. So this is no joke. This isn't no Mickey Mouse event where this is a very serious financial conference event where people come to learn, grow, expand, scale, and in terms of social media, their business, their money, their wealth, and all those things. So what I'd like to do is introduce Brad. How you doing, my friend? Let me get you on the screen here. How's everything going?
I'm doing great. Good to see you.
Yes, yes. We've had we conversated through email. You were very open, transparent. We jumped on a Zoom call together. I think we had a wonderful conversation, and here we are now live on my channel. You yourself are a YouTuber and a financial coach as well, so we're in the similar fields. And
hmm
the way I got connected to you was prior to FinCon. I don't know which one came first. It might have been FinCon, or it might have been that one viral video of you talking about why you left Dave Ramsey and your 5 reasons.
uh
And the way
Yeah,
you broke that down was so just very, very clear, concise. You wasn't bashing anybody. You're just like, look, here are the facts. Here's what I went through. Here's my results. Bam, take it how it is. And I think that
yeah,
video got over 150,000 views. Um, and
yeah,
it really helped me like understand my position as well in the financial industry. I'm 25 years old, so I still have a lot more to learn, even though I've been in the space and some people call me experts already. I don't claim that title, or guru. I don't claim that, but it's one of those things that just happens as you're serving and helping people. So my audience does not know who you are, and I'm just starting to get to know you. So if you wouldn't mind just sharing a little bit of your backstory prior to YouTube, prior to you becoming a financial coach, what was that process, right? That beginning, where it all began,
yep,
and then
yep.
fast forward to what you're doing today and how you do it and how you help people.
No, that's great. I really appreciate the intro, and I appreciate the opportunity to connect with you and your audience, and hopefully our audiences can connect together. Um, yeah, so my story starts back in about 2004, and I had basically, like most Americans, was living well beyond my means. I had run up about $174,000 worth of debt, 43,000 in consumer debt, 131 in mortgage debt. And I had gotten into myself into the first iteration of my career as a corporate software salesman, which I should have learned a long time ago that I wasn't well suited for in many ways. And I had just reached a point of burnout. I'd reached a point of overwhelm. I had just gone through a divorce a few years before that. And I was just completely overwhelmed. I was in a new city. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, or outside of Atlanta, Georgia now. And so much to the chagrin of my mother, who really raised me to be, frugal and to be very conscious of, dollars in, dollars out, that kind of thing. I graduated from high school. I went into the army. I went to college, and I absorbed a lot of the middle class attitudes about money that I was just sort of swimming in those circles. Things like you'll always have debt, and you'll always have a credit card payment and a car payment and a mortgage, and all of those things. And because I was coming from a, the frame around my mother's frugality was, we were in relative poverty, really. So I, basically wasn't a fan of what I would become, in terms of minimalism and frugality in those days. I basically, because of I guess the frame of poverty around that, I was really much more open and much more, I guess, easily influenced by a lot of the middle class attitudes that I had around me. So when I graduated from high school, graduated from college, went to the army, got out of the army, and I had started my corporate sales career. And I just, like I said, I had just gone through a divorce, and I was a hot mess. I had moved to Atlanta, and proceeded to get myself into, like I said, $174,000 worth of debt. It came to a boiling point with my career. I decided that I wanted to, leave my corporate sales career the first time around to pursue a career in music. I had been a musician, a guitar player since I was about 14 or 15 years old. And I had sort of grown up, as a sales guy and as a musician, sort of simultaneously. And so I was really glad to have those two skill sets, but I had gotten to a point in my life where, things were just so heavy and I couldn't really handle the pressure of being in corporate sales. I was making really good money, but I really hated what I did. I hated the company that I worked for, and I decided to jump ship. And so I did that. And the only real, safety net or emergency fund that I had was that my home equity line of credit, which was $43,000. So I jumped ship. I didn't know how to budget. I didn't know how to do any of the things that I teach people now. And I was a huge train wreck. So over the course of the next 3 years, from about 2001 to 2004, I proceeded to really, just flounder. And I continued to get into a more and more dire financial situation. I bought a condo in downtown Atlanta that I couldn't afford. Had leased a car that I really had no business leasing as well. And so over the course of the next 3 years, I was really struggling to build my music career and get enough contracts to, get my, get enough income coming in. So I was relying on my home equity line of credit. I was kind of living off of that to a certain degree. And it really all just came crashing down in 2004. I had sort of my defining moment with that. I logged into my bank account, and I had my overhead at that time was about $2,000 a month. I had less than $1,000 in my bank account, and I almost had a heart attack. And I was like, okay, I got to do something about this. And that was the time that I discovered somebody had brought Dave Ramsey's material into my life. And it was the first time that I had heard anyone in the personal finance space, and it wasn't nearly as popular or as many voices as there are now. It wasn't there weren't nearly as many voices, but he was really the first one that I heard say, "Hey, man, you need to have an emergency fund of at least $10,000 because statistically, every 7 to 10 years, you're going to have a $7,000 to $10,000 emergency." And I'd never heard anybody say that before. So that started me on a path of organizing my finances, optimizing some things, getting on a budget, expense tracking. I decided for a period of time to go back into the corporate world so that I could pay off the debt. So fast forward 2.5 years later, I paid off all of that debt, consumer debt and the mortgage debt.
What year is it
And
now? What year is it now?
this is about 2007. Yeah,
Okay,
sorry.
okay, got
So
it.
it was about 2007, and I'll never forget the day that I wrote that last check to pay off the mortgage, and it was one of the happiest days of my life. And really, from the time that I engaged with that material, I connected with it as many of us in the personal finance space do, in a way that was like, okay, I want to teach people this stuff.
Right.
So that really started me. I kind of started my coaching career in a really kind of off the cuff sort of way right then and there. So I've really been doing the financial coaching thing for over a decade, but I didn't really get serious about it until 2017. And that's when I went through Financial Coach Master Training, Dave Ramsey's program, and was
Right.
sort of drinking that Kool-Aid for a couple of years. So that's kind of the 30,000-foot overview of, how I've gotten here. The elevator pitch for Zero Debt Coaches: we help 5 and 6 figure corporate burnouts escape their nightmare by teaching them how to organize and optimize their finances, obliterate their debt, and move on to financial independence by starting and growing an online business. So that's pretty much what we do.
I like it. I like it. And the name of your YouTube channel is called Zero Debt Coach, correct?
That's right. Yep.
Got it. We'll definitely. I'm gonna put that in the chat so people can check you out as we continue to have this conversation and those that catch the replay. So now it's 2021, right? You made it through 07, 08 crash. You got serious about building the coaching business around 2017,
Yes.
and now we're 2021. What has some go over some successes, some failures, and kind of how you're progressing here today.
Yeah, I would say the first iteration of this of Zero Debt Coach was 2017. I went through Financial Coach Master Training. I was in what's called their preferred coaching program for about a year and a half, where it's a
Right.
subscription service, and you're on a list, and they send you leads and your zip code and that sort of thing. And that was fine for a little while, but I knew that I didn't want to do a lot of one-to-one coaching in the local way that they sort of train their coaches how to do that. That's a really big part of their program, is they want you to work in your church and work, with, local networking groups and really do a kneecap to kneecap thing. I knew that I wanted to do more of a one-to-many type of business. I wanted to teach through, digital courses, online membership sites, maybe some group coaching, and then as a more of a premium service to do one-to-one coaching. So in 2018 is when I started Zero Debt Coach. And so that was really kind of at the tail end of me being involved with the Ramsey organization. And I really kind of jettisoned them in September of that year and really went, 100% into, just building this as a platform, as a one-to-many kind of platform. So in the middle of that, I was building it as a side hustle because I had gone back into corporate software sales in
Right.
2015 as a way to pursue, so my wife and I could pursue financial independence, and we could really get this, build our nest egg. We were going for $1 million in net worth. We didn't make it, but we got halfway there by 2019 when I finally left the corporate world for good. And then so I've been doing this full time since November of 2019.
Got it. And talk a little bit about your pivot, because this is what attracted me to your channel. Is like you're initially introduced to Dave Ramsey. You go through the entire thing, Financial Peace University, 7 baby steps. You become a financial certified Dave Ramsey coach. I'm certified as well recently of this year. And then you start to get some doubts or feelings, and then you eventually you say I'm out. So what got you to that point?
Yeah, that's a
Just
really
elaborate a little bit on
great,
that. And
yeah, great and insightful question. And you're really teeing me up to knock it out of the park on that one. I started to see, one of the things, and I'm sure you can appreciate this, and anyone who's been through Financial Coach Master Training will, would probably say the same thing. It's, Dave Ramsey's organization. I never want to be a troll of them. I mean, he's done a great thing, and I'm certainly grateful for everything that I've learned from that organization. But as I graduated from Financial Coach Master Training, and even when I was in the preferred coaching program, fielding leads that were coming in from their organization, I just started to see that his brand, his particular brand of the way that he talks to his audience and the way that he talks to their problems, and I think sort of the detachment that he has, really being at this point, I mean, he's probably a centimillionaire. I believe he's worth close to $500 million at this point. There's a disconnect, I think, that happens, with his audience and just some of his approaches to things. And I found that as I was getting out and really coaching people on my own, that they weren't really responding to that the way that I thought that they would. I thought that I was going to be sort of like this Dave Ramsey Jr. guy, and I was just going to walk around punching people in the face, telling them that they were stupid for taking out credit cards and stuff. And it was like, oh no, that doesn't really work. And so I went through that, really started this process of me kind of softening some of the things that I believed and was teaching. And I think I've heard you talk about this before: credit cards, credit score. One of the things Dave Ramsey talks about is, he wants to get you to a point where you don't need a credit score. And sure, that's a great aspiration to have, but most people need a credit score for, if they want to rent an apartment. I mean, it's a very practical thing to have a credit score. Now, do you want to bow at the altar of the credit score? Of course not. But I just think that there are some things that are, kind of a bit unreasonable and not quite flexible enough in his platform. And so the more I was in that program, and the more I started having these conversations with students and prospective students myself, the more I saw that they really appreciated and responded better to me being flexible, listening to them, meeting them where they were. And the other part of that was that I just didn't really buy the idea of that all credit cards are stupid all the time, or that you don't need a credit score. Another big departure for me was with Dave was on cryptocurrencies, and also precious metals and things like that, and some of the macroeconomic things that we get into as we sort of explore this as a career and try to teach our people. So I started to see that this sandbox that I was playing in was just way too constricting for me. And in September of 2018, the subscription that I was a part of, the Ramsey Preferred Coaching Program, that part of the organization called a meeting, and they said, "Hey, by the way, this coming month, we're doubling the price 250%, and it's for the same thing. We're not giving you anything extra." And but I had already gotten to the point where I was feeling too constrained.
Got it.
The leads weren't
That was
good. Yeah, and so that was sort of the tipping point for me. My wife and I were talking about it, and she was trying to get me to bail, before that even.
oh, really?
But that was really the tipping point for me, and really the clarifying moment was I dissented in the Zoom call meeting about, hey, can we have a conversation about this? I mean, what's it's their right, obviously, as an organization to raise their rates and do whatever they want to do.
Hmm.
But the fact that I expressed dissent caused them to immediately cut my subscription membership with them. No question, no conversation. They
Yeah.
just cut me out.
Yeah, I think delivery and messaging is key because when I work with my clients, people know me from as far back as when I first started my YouTube channel.
Yeah,
I was charging $7 a month for the same name course that I have today, which I
right,
charge now. Um, what is it? 19.99 a month is what I currently charge. It's the same name course, but there's been many additions added
right,
to the course. And what I try to do is I make videos that explains exactly what are the same exact things that you're getting from people that signed up early versus people that are signing up today. What are the differences? What are some new things coming in? And so I kind of got that same energy because when I initially enrolled to become Dave Ramsey certified, they were running a promotion. So that's cool.
mm,
Everyone does marketing strategies, promotions, things like that.
sure,
And then they were saying it's going to be this price, which was literally double. And they were like, it's going to be the same thing. And I was like, well, wait, got it. Like, I was like, let me just, hop in this thing now. That's how my mindset was. But I was like, dang, people that are going to join after are going to pay like double, but there's no increase in coaching calls.
right,
There's not an
yeah.
increase in
There's no increase
one-to-one.
in value necessarily.
It's now I'm just, it's, you know, you're paying for Hugo Boss before they became Hugo Boss. Like now
That's
you're
right.
same product, but you're now paying
Right,
double. That's a different story in the clothing industry.
right,
But in terms of delivering value, I think people do want, hey, wait, hey, what's up? I want a little more. Like, do I get the Hugo shirt plus the socks? Okay, that makes
right,
sense. Do I get a
right.
belt with it? Like that would, make more sense. So that was my initial disconnect with the program as well, and more so, I really became certified to become a synergist because I do
Yeah.
see this whole refugee, I call it, all these
Oh,
refugees,
I think that's I think that's a very insightful name for it. Yeah.
all these people that are kind of stuck in limbo, and if they speak up, everyone around them criticizes them. You're stupid. That's, avoid debt like the plague. But they're looking at the features and benefits of like, oh my God, wait a minute, like I could potentially save 10 to 20% of my expenses per year just by running it through one or two different credit cards that are
Mhm.
giving a
Right.
3% cash back match, and then a additional match at the end of the year, and then spend 3 grand, we'll give you another 200. Like, very hard to avoid that. And then the other thing is with credit, I tell people cash is king without a doubt,
Oh, yeah.
but
Yeah.
credit is power in many
Right.
different cases. And
Mhm. Leverage.
so right, it's leverage. And so I try not to uh, argue, because that was my initial entering into the YouTube space. Was I was one of those people that was creating an anti argument to Dave, and I was like, you know what? I started learning, I matured. I was like, this is not a good long-term strategy. Let me welcome those people who are exiting, or in your case, in your video that went viral, you mentioned simply graduating. Like,
Yeah.
there's people that
Right.
simply graduate the 7 baby
Right.
steps, and then they attend something like a FinCon, and they hear something about fire, you know, investing, cryptocurrency, a lot of different topics. Like, oh my God, this is, now they're stepping out of their that box that they've been in for a while. You know,
Yep.
so it becomes very, very interesting. But I really like that you were open, that you started a whole YouTube channel, because a lot of people need that, and they need a place to say, hey, I think this is a good idea. Can we discuss it? And that's where the disconnect was. You can't discuss it in the Dave Ramsey camp. Even as a financial coach certified,
Right.
when I go in those Zoom meetings, I don't voice my opinion, because I know how
Right.
the I'm going to get shut down very quickly. And
Oh, yeah. There's no dissent. It has been described by many people as a very cultish organization, and I really I see that. I see that a lot now. And what's been interesting is that the Dave why I no longer follow Dave Ramsey video was the second viral video. The first viral video I had was about the departure of Chris Hogan, and that was back in
right,
March.
right,
And so that was a really eye-opening situation for me too, because of the federal lawsuit and all those kinds of things. But I just began to see it really just crystallized a lot of things that I had sort of internalized, in the years, eh, having some proximity to that organization, and then just sort of the way that my interaction with them ended by, you know, having any amount of dissent, like you were saying, that you just know that's not going to be welcome there by any. It's like you're either going to think about it this way and say it this way and teach it this way, or we're just parting ways, and that's just that is really not a good way to function. And what's really been interesting in terms of what you're saying about the refugees from that is that, just to kind of give you an idea, before that first viral video went out, I had 263 YouTube subscribers. When the Chris Hogan video went out, and I was basically just trying to do a fair analysis of, hey, these are the facts that we know. This is how we need to be thinking about this. We need to reserve judgment to a certain degree. But if what is being said is true, then this really bodes badly for them as an organization, for sure. And we need to make some decisions as a community how we're going to respond to this. And so within 2 to 3 weeks, I went from 263 subscribers to 5,500 subscribers. And then when I did the why I no longer follow Dave Ramsey video, that took me from, I think, 5,500 to like over 8,000 subscribers. And this is all within the course of like a month and a half.
yeah,
So the message really resonates. It resonates in two ways, obviously, as it always does on social media. It resonates with the people that are the refugees, but it also resonates with the people that are part of the cult and are sort of trollish. And I that was really my first exposure to the potential for the
streams of both.
extreme negativity, and
Right.
people calling me a worm and a traitor and
Yeah,
all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, wow, man.
yeah,
So no matter how fair you try to be in your messaging and how
doesn't matter.
balanced, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So that was really that was a quite a learning experience for me.
which is again why I applaud you for what you've been doing on your channel, voicing your thoughts, your feedback, because that's what it's all about. I like bringing in other people that agree with me and don't agree with me on everything to help the individual, the viewer, make the best decision for themselves. I think
That's what
that's
it's all about. It's all about learning how to think critically, and I would say that, in Dave Ramsey's heart of hearts, I think that he would agree with that to a certain degree. He's a brilliant marketer because he understands the power of polarizing content. But at the end of the day, it's just like there's such a far push to, in one direction with a lot of these issues that I think even even the least discerning among us are like, yeah, that doesn't quite ring true. I remember even when I finished, the first 3 or 4 baby steps, got myself out of debt, and then I looked at the rest of the baby steps. I was like, yeah, this is all, I know that this is going to be a much more personalized thing. And so your audience, my audience, we're constantly recommending that they listen to other voices, because you have to bring other strategies and other ideas into your own, as you personalize your own strategy. And I think that, what you teach in terms of like the velocity banking stuff, like I think that's a I think it's a good concept. I think it's a very advanced concept, and it's frankly something that I need to learn more about. So I think we're just always constantly in this posture of learning and taking our acumen, to the next level. And that's really the heart of what I try to do on my platform, is encourage the increase of your financial acumen.
definitely, definitely. Again, glad to have you here, and I want to say hi to some of the folks that are watching. We're now at roughly 20, 22 people. I want to say hi to Pearl. How you doing? She says, "Hello, Denzel. Pearl's in the house. Very excited about the topic tonight." We got Hazel watching on Facebook. By the way, we're live on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn,
Nice.
and Clubhouse. If any of you guys that are watching live would like to join the conversation, you want to add something, are you attending FinCon? We'd love to meet you in person. Brad and I are both going to be there in Austin, Texas, in person, networking, collaborating, and meeting new people. So we're super excited about that. And so if you're one of those people that are attending FinCon, definitely comment or jump on Clubhouse. Actually, fastest way, and I can bring you right up to the stage, and we can hear your voice. So it'd be more than just comments, right? So hello to Hazel. Hello, Tim. Tim says he's also in software sales and also a musician as well. It's another client of
Nice.
mine. Donna, another client of mine. Hello. Told my 7-year-old aunt Velocity Banking, and she was like, doesn't make sense to have another line of credit. Yep, yep. Hazel says, this is awesome. Jesus is in the house. I've been here for a while, Denzel. How are you? Wanda, how's everything going? Awesome, awesome. So that's all the comments so far. Now, what I'd like to do is direct our attention to the board, which is really the main topic. And Brad's going to help us. And I asked him this question, and I feel like I challenged him because I was like, what are your goals for FinCon? What are you looking to get out of this? And I think the truth of the matter is that most of us have not been to an in-person live event, business, networking, workshop, seminar in probably more than a year. For most people, have not been to a major event since COVID, since March 2020 when things initially shut down. So now that we're in 2021, we're about to close out the year. We're starting to see some more events start popping up, and we're kind of returning to some, bit of a pre-COVID environment, let's say, right? So I recently just attended the Vault conference. That was hosted by Patrick Bet-David, who runs a YouTube
Mhm.
channel called Valuetainment, and he also has a podcast called the Patrick Bet-David Podcast. You guys can check that out. He's got over 3 million subscribers. That was awesome. Roughly 1,000 people showed up at that event, and the tactics that I used to increase my networking skills, my social skills, have been able to put me in a position to collaborate with people, to do business, to increase sales, increase revenue, and just build strong relationships long term. And I want to take that same way of thinking and apply it to FinCon. FinCon is actually going to be not mistaken, a 4-day event, and I'm flying in the day before, I'm leaving the day after. So I have a nice window to network with people, possibly even on the plane ride there, at the airport, at the hotel, before the event starts, after the event. So we're going to discuss a lot of different strategies. I think this is very helpful, even if you're someone watching, you're not a business owner, right? But you aspire to be, or you are a C-suite executive. You have a high role in the company that you work for. It's likely that you're probably going to attend some kind of workshop, some kind of seminar, and having these networking skills, this sort of what is it, knee to knee, interaction,
Mm-hmm.
like what Brad was saying earlier. We're in a very online social media space where a lot of money is being made on the internet, but still today in the 21st century, there's nothing like that elbow to elbow handshake, high fives, hugs, kisses, connection in person. You can never get rid of that because we're social beings. And so having those skills really help us perform online and offline. So let's dive right into it. And I broke it down into 3 different sections that I believe are critical whenever you attend an event. 3 main things we want to have at the forefront, which is to know your numbers, right? We always got to know our numbers. As a financial coach, Brad, I'm sure could agree with this. We always got to know our numbers. And when we're going on vacation, we're going to a business event, we're starting a business, we're entering a business, we're exiting a business, we're investing in something. Always got to know your numbers, right? So that never goes away. The second main topic is money making, right? Money making strategies. How do I make money going to FinCon? Is that a possibility? How can I ethically, authentically do that, right? Make money while at the event, before the event, after the event, right? How do I make that happen? And then the third main component is networking, right? Networking tips. So I've laid out a couple, and then I'm gonna let Brad chime in, see if there's something that I might have missed, and then those of you that are watching, comment your thoughts as well. If you're someone that has attended events, or you're in sales and marketing and networking, and you've got these skills built up, you comment, and be more than happy to add them to the board. So starting with the money stuff, you guys already know me, but whenever I start a video, for the most part, most of my videos, I always look at the 4 major numbers, right? Income, expenses, debt, and cash flow. Where are we at with that? We got to know what's coming in each month, what's coming out. Do we have any liabilities, right? Are you debt free? Cool, that's not even a worry. That free cash flow. What's that free cash flow, and how much are we willing to allocate to fund something like a 4-day conference, right? We have to think about travel, hotel, food. We got to think, transportation, the price of the ticket itself, right? We got to think about the price of the ticket itself. And then any other miscellaneous, maybe you buy some gear while you're there, some merchandise. Are you going to an event where things are going to be sold, right? Got to have, money up for that as well. And so that can rack up quite a bit. So we want to make sure we're going in with this awareness and not get blindsided. I've noticed that people go to events sometimes and they get blindsided. They end up at a pitch fest and they didn't even know, right? And they end up getting sold, and they go into debt to either try to make money, start a business, and that usually doesn't end well most of the time. So we got to know our numbers, right? Calculate the cost, got to have a budget. We need to set calculated goals, right? And we need to treat this like an investment, right? What is the return from me attending this event, flying out to Texas, right? I'm in Florida, so I'm flying all the way out to Texas. What am I getting out of going to this event, FinCon 2021? I need to know that in advance. I can't just, guess like, oh, I hope this, I hope that. I need to set the intention. So with that being said, Brad, any thoughts so far on the money side of it, the cost, the budgeting, anything that I might have missed or anything that comes to mind that you'd like to add? And I also want to say hello to Craig and Christina, who are with me on Clubhouse. Like I said, guys, if you're watching live on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, you're more than welcome. Come on Clubhouse, raise your hand. You can join the conversation on tips to prepare for success around attending a business event. So with that being said, Brad, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I think the first thing I want to say is that I think this is an incredibly well organized sort of mental map of how to map out for for one of these events. Depending on where the attendees are with their financial lives, with any kind of business that they've started. One of the things that I think we've built so much margin into both our personal budget and our business budget that even though I'm probably only going to spend about $1,000 out of pocket, including the ticket, including the airline, including the food, because I'm using points,
Wow.
airline miles. My ticket from, my round trip ticket from Atlanta to Austin cost me $11.30. you
What?
know, yeah, because I'm using points, and so that's a strategy. And there again, that would be a big hand smack from the Dave Ramsey people. But my wife and I we have utilized these, assets, points and miles, over the past decade. My wife is from Colombia, South America, and we've literally saved tens of thousands of dollars on travel, by using these. So I think that you're absolutely correct. Knowing your income, knowing your expenses, debt, cash flow, your numbers in terms of the you know how many people you want to meet, just kind of having an idea of some of those things. But I think that you'll get to, as you, wherever you are in the process, as you're sort of organizing and optimizing your finances, getting things on a budget, expense tracking, you're going to have a better sense of your numbers. If you're in your numbers every day, you're going to be looking at all of those things. And so for this, I was really chomping at the bit to go last year, which is when, we bought our tickets, but they, unfortunately had to cancel FinCon for 2020 because of COVID. And so I've been chomping at the bit to go to this thing. And so now that, that was a sunk cost from last year that just carried over this year. And so the other biggest expense was the hotel. And I just found one of a smaller hotel, a very nice hotel, in sort of like the ancillary area to the FinCon area. It's a few blocks walk. And I think I'm spending maybe somewhere between $600 and $700 for the 5 nights that I'm going to be staying there. So I think it's just it's that brain training that we're going through as we're building our personal finance vocabulary and all these habits. Um, but I agree with all these points, knowing your numbers, calculating those costs, which you're already doing a lot of this stuff inherently if you're, on a budget and tracking your expenses. And it is an investment. And I think that one of the things that you said, Denzel, that really resonates with me is the fact that we get together in person. We're all doing these Zoom meetings, all day long, day in, day out. I got to meet with some friends of mine in at their in their local business office in their conference room, this week, and just meeting face to face was just such a treat, for us. And there's such a different level of connection. So while I'm super, nerdy and geeky about the numbers and knowing and tracking the numbers. I Denzel and I were talking about this in the pre-show, that I'm trying to I tend to put a lot of pressure on myself because I am numbers oriented about, all right, how many people do I want to meet with? How many collaborations do I want to have? And all that kind of stuff. And certainly I want to do as many of those as possible. But I think that because for me, this is my first FinCon, I think that I've really just had to kind of step back and relax a little bit and say, I'm there to learn and to meet people. And I think there was something that you had on the whiteboard about just something along the lines of not selling, but just going to share and going to, network and be, one of the Stephen Covey's 7 habits of highly effective people is seek first to understand and then to be understood. So going there to meet people. And I think that, Denzel, you do such a great job of that, reaching out, to me on my platform. I mean, you have a larger platform than I do, so there's, potentially much more in this for me than it is for you. But that just goes to show the way that you think in an abundance mentality is that, we can all sort of learn from each other. So yeah, I think that, looking at that, those lists of things that you have on the board there, I think that that's just a really great, mental map of how to think about doing an event like this.
Absolutely. And I like that you brought up the part that, yes, I have a bigger platform and I was still willing to, reach out to you that you're just about to break 10K subscribers, if I'm not mistaken. And, the simple fact that I learned actually in a very humble way where
Yeah.
I had reached out to another YouTube channel called Wealth Nation, and they had roughly, I want to say anywhere in the neighborhood of 3 to 5,000 subscribers when I originally reached out. We then do a collaboration together. I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think it was, gonna, get a million views or even 10,000 views. I just did it because I liked them. I liked what they were talking about. Come to find out, a couple weeks go by, all of a sudden, my subscriber, like literally overnight, where I was at like roughly 15, 16,000 or so. I jumped to like 20. And I was like,
Wow.
the heck's going on? And then I'm at 22. And then I'm at 25. And then I'm at 20. I'm like, every month I'm like 1,000, 2,000. But I'm like, what am I doing? I go to their video, 100 plus thousand views
Yeah.
on the video. I'm like, oh my God. It took me over a year to get 100,000 views on one video, which I posted a while back. That's over 12 months. This video essentially went financially viral in the financial community online in the YouTube space within a couple weeks. And then today, I just took a look at it. It's at 265,000 plus views. And that is
Wow.
constantly bringing me new eyeballs, new
Yeah.
attention. And
Yeah.
the humbling fact here is it was on their channel, right? So
Right.
I was like, shoot, I should have been on my channel because I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, and also prior to the video even going viral, we then collaborated on my channel. Now that video did not go viral. It got a couple thousand views, but still nonetheless, amazing. It was a win-win situation. I got a ton of
Yeah.
subscribers from it. But this channel they're creeping at 100,000 subscribers. That video
Wow.
that video is going to be public for however long Wealth Nation
Yeah.
keeps their channel on.
Right.
So they're going to
Yeah.
get the ads revenue to their channel. That's great and all, but they've got my website and YouTube channel linked in the bottom in the description. Bunch of comments, my name being mentioned. With YouTube, you can now mention people in the comments.
Yeah.
So if you have a favorite YouTuber that you like and you're on someone else's channel and you want to shout them out, definitely hit the @ sign, put the name of the channel, and that YouTuber will see those comments, and then they'll be able to comment on your comment, and that creates that engagement, that community, and so that's super cool. I really like that you mentioned that because that was a humbling moment for me, and ever since then, I do not underestimate anyone. I look at the
Right.
value. I look at the value
Right.
that they're providing, and
Yep.
like where they're going, and their commitment
Yeah.
levels.
Yep.
That's
And it is, and I think for any of your viewers that are kind of on this journey to maybe start some sort of online business or
right.
platform or something along those lines, especially in the YouTube space, I mean, the content game is a long game. My first viral video, that Chris Hogan video, which I think has like 263,000 views now,
Wow.
that was video number 117 for me. I did 117 videos and
Nice.
at 200 to get to 263 subscribers. And then I had a viral video, and it could have gone on much longer than that. You never know. But I think the principle that you're really outlining is to have an open hand and to be willing to, to share and to introduce people to your platform and vice versa. And by the way, we'll be having Denzel on my YouTube channel
Yes.
as part of our Journey to Debt Free series here in just a few weeks. And so, and that's one of the ways that I really try to reach out to others in the personal finance space to have them on my channel to share their story and then also share their platform too, because not everybody on my platform is going to listen to everything that I have to say, and they may grow to not like me after a while, and that's okay. Their best interest is, always has to be front and center in whatever content that we're making. So
Right. Awesome, awesome. Let's move along. Let's go to the second main topic now, which is money making tips. I've got three of them that I do strategically. Before I go to any event. I've been doing this for the past 2 years now, which is I'll literally create content about the event. Look at what I'm doing right now.
awesome.
I got the
Yeah.
title FinCon 21 in the title. I'll send out emails. I'll promote it. It's almost like I'm promoting the event before the event, right? So I'll create
Yeah.
content before the event, I'll create content during the event, and usually the content that I create during the event are quick, 15-second, 30-second stories that I'll post on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, right? YouTube Shorts. That's usually how I'll create content, or photos. I take photos with people that I interact with, network with. You get a little star power. For example, if you say there's a speaker attending FinCon that you really want to, hear them speak and then possibly take a photo with, that photo could be money, because that
Hmm.
that person is highly successful, and there's something around, getting around successful people. They sprinkle the infield is what my stepdad calls it, which is you're just spreading the wealth, right? And if you've got that energy of money and wealth, richness, like just pure authenticity, money just falls off of you onto other people. And when others that are looking to build, that are looking to get within proximity of the money, you got to find where is money's attention being held, because money follows attention. The more attention you attract, it eventually the money comes with it, right? So create content. The second thing, I sometimes, not all times, but sometimes I might run a promotion. Either I'll offer, like, free coaching, like if you come to the event. I like to try to incentivize my subscribers to actually meet me in person. Hey, take the ride, come meet me. Let's go to dinner. Let's hang out. And maybe that subscriber is not a client yet, but that's that one thing that makes them go right over. They got to meet you in person, you know? And then they're like, I got to work with this guy. I got to work with this lady. And so that's usually really powerful. And the third thing is collaborate. Another thing we're doing right here, right now, I'm collaborating with Brad. Now, this isn't, a little quick thing. Like, I actually prepped this.
Hmm.
I researched YouTubers. I looked up content. I watched hours upon hours of content. I researched. Once I found Brad, then I narrowed. I said, okay, I like this guy. I watch about 10, 15 videos. I look at old videos, new videos in between. Then I say, okay, where else is he on? He's on Facebook. Oh, he's attending FinCon. Okay, cool. Da, da, da. And I slowly build, what I call social currency, digital currency, right? Where
Hmm.
I'm depositing, you know, uh, uh, social currency into this new relationship. And then you ask. I don't just lead with the ask. I kind of build it up to the point of asking, where they feel comfortable to say yes. I get them in a position to say yes. I take out the guessing work when it comes to people saying yes. I try to make them as close as possible to a yes by creating the environment of yes. This is a great sales tip for those that are looking to, increase their sales in their businesses. You just got to position your prospects in a yes environment, and less of a no and I don't know and I'm not ready environment. Okay. So those are the three main things that I have. Brad, is there anything that you'd like to add to this that I might have missed here, or something that you've done in the past? Anything you can think of?
So I'm in the middle of this pivot. I grew up and had so much of my career in the corporate software sales space, which is a much it's a lot different. The networking principles are very similar. So I'm really looking forward to FinCon in so many ways, not the least of which is just the fact that I can wear jeans and a t-shirt and and really just be myself and not have to put on any kind of airs. But I like the idea, and actually, you're giving me a lot of great ideas about creating content and capturing moments, capturing conversations, capturing ideas and insights that you're getting to then share with your audience as well. So I love all of that. That's good stuff.
Awesome.
Encouraging.
As you were talking, another idea just came to mind, which is, I'll just kind of sum it up and then explain it, which is to have a process
Hmm.
to close, right? So at the end of the day, we don't want to lead with selling, right? And that's going to be a tip in the networking, the third part of this session, but have a process to close in the event you compel somebody, you persuade, you convince, you show, your true colors and what you're doing and how you're helping people. You're getting within proximity of the money because you're delivering a great value to somebody. So have a process to close. And what I mean by that is prior to me attending FinCon 21, I blocked out a couple days before the event, a couple days after the event, and during the event where I don't take any calls from any of my existing clients, and I make a separate calendar link for people that I meet at the event where they can get a little priority in terms of uh, I connect with someone on day one of FinCon 21. As I'm connecting with them, we exchange social media handles, right? Emails, business card, whatever we exchange. I'm going to send them a message at the event saying, hey, it was great connecting with you. Let's make day two even better than day one. When the event's over, here's my calendar link. You can set up a phone call with me and we can keep the conversation going because I know you're busy right now and we're having a ton of fun, but I want you to keep me in mind. I didn't sell anything just yet, but I'm putting them in a position to say yes, right? It was welcoming, it's heartfelt, it's authentic. And then once I have them in my environment, in my ecosystem, now it's just based off skills at that point to close them. And it's also based on whether or not they're even qualified to become a client of mine, or I can be a referral. Here's another way to make money. You just simply
Yeah.
refer people. If you can figure out, this is brilliant. I was talking to a guy at the previous event that I was just at, the Vault conference. He's also 25 years old. I'm 25. Guy's a giant. And we were talking. I told him what I needed, what I was looking for. Within like 2 minutes, the guy comes over and he's like, hey, there's a lady over here. You got to talk to her. And by the way, you need to talk to this. I'm like, why are you doing that? That's so nice. Oh my God. He's like, we're at the Vault, man. We're networking. I'm like, you're right. My goodness, I forgot. And this guy's just like connecting me. Now, whether or not he makes money, obviously it would be nice if you had a process to make money in those referrals. But whether you do or you don't, the gesture is everything, right? The intention behind it all is everything. And money will eventually come regardless, right? If you approach it from the heart, money follows attention. And so being able to refer people as you're talking, take notes with people. As you're networking with people, take notes, jot it down. I talked to Bob, I talked to Bill, talked to Susie. It looks like Susie doesn't need my help, but she might need Bob's help. Now, if I can make the connection from Susie to Bob, even if I don't get paid for that, right? Bob's going to keep me in mind. And either he's going to invite me to dinner on day 3 and cover the bill, which saves me money, and that's a nice gesture, or Bob's going to connect me to Tom, who he connected with, that could use my service but not Bob's service. So you see how that occurred? I networked with someone that necessarily wasn't for me, but because I networked with Bob, I now connect Susie to Bob. Bob connected with Tom. They weren't really a connection, but they had a nice conversation. And he kept me in mind and said, you know what, Tom, you got to talk to this guy, Denzel. And boom, money was made, right? So you create the ecosystem, get within proximity. Those are some great money making tips. And like I said, if you guys have any other thoughts that come to mind as I'm talking, go ahead, comment, right? Or if you're in Clubhouse, hello to Zoo and Molly that are listening. If you guys want to come up at any point in time and add value, um, hey, we're here. That's what Clubhouse is here for. Those that are watching, jump on Clubhouse and we can have a conversation, have some fun. So moving to the third topic now, the networking tips. This is the fun stuff that I just simply enjoy now that I've had a ton of success in my business. I just crossed the $1 million revenue mark in my business. At 25 years old, I'm super blessed. Got all these subscribers and followers now, where I'm at a point now where it's, these strategies that I'm sharing with you guys on the board, I just do it for fun, and it does eventually result in money making. But man, it is just absolutely fun. And I think a pro tip is to have fun when you attend an event. I've got somebody raising their hand right now on Clubhouse. I want to give them the opportunity to speak. Zuberi, if I say that right?
Hi, Denzel. How are you? This is Zuberi.
Hey, good evening. Thanks for joining. We're discussing FinCon 21, success tips, how to prepare in advance. And I also got my friend and guest, Brad, who has a YouTube channel called Zero Debt Coach. Be sure to check him out. Introduce yourself, Zuberi, and what do you do? And if you're attending FinCon 21 in person or virtual, or if you've never heard of it and you're going to consider it.
Well, I've definitely heard of it. What I do, actually, I'm a full-time rideshare driver. I've been doing that since 2018. I happily fired my job back then after working in the fundraising arena doing nonprofit research for 20 years. I look as young as you, but I'm 51 years old. I'm a father of two girls, and that is my wealth. I've been following you for quite some time, Denzel, brother, and I'm originally from Jersey. You are a breath of fresh light, brother. I'm very conservative when it comes to my money and very liberal, of course, as an African American as it relates to societal things. I have just started within the last month or so my credit services business. And my focus is showing people how to use business credit. We have to have a legitimate business, of course, but the tax code is structured for us to get the benefits of being business people. 90% of the tax code is if you do this, invest in this area, we will
Hey,
reward you
Brad,
for
can you hear
this. So I
him?
think people have a fear out of ignorance.
Awesome.
I've have
Perfect.
been drinking your bathwater for quite a while. I understand the whole concept that you talk about, and did some further research in researching the quote unquote modern day founder of Infinite Banking who passed within the last 2 years, and he lived right down the road from me in Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, wow. I didn't know where he lived,
Nelson,
but yeah, he did pass
Nelson,
away.
yeah, Nelson Nash.
Hmm.
So anything I can do to support you, promote you, to put your ideas out, I share your content all the time with people. People like Brad, you're doing great things. I think we need to take responsibility for our actions. We are not victims. We are conquerors. We are breaths of fresh light. I like the fact that you focus on women. My mother raised me. My father passed early. Like I said, I'm a father of five girls, so how can I not support women? So at 51, and getting the courage of 2018, I won't be attending FinCon, but I will be there through you. And offline, I would love to talk to you more about how I can partner with you and what you're doing with Velocity Banking. You're very detailed in how you do your cases online, and how you talk about using a HELOC or a line of credit. You're just amazing content. I think our kids should be learning this stuff as early as the 8th grade.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for tuning in, and be sure to like either send me a DM on
Okay.
Instagram or on Clubhouse, or even email me. Be like,
Okay.
hey, I'm Zuberi. I was on the live, just to refresh my memory. Would love to, just have a quick conversation. And did you say that you're gonna come to the event, not attend it, but like be within the area that we can actually meet in
No,
person? Or
vicariously through you and
got it,
others out
got it.
online checking out things. I do
Okay.
want to say that I've hooked up with the Ayana, I think, out of the upstate New York area, Poconos area, and I did establish my first whole life insurance policy with the PUA through Guardian,
Got it.
and
Awesome.
I'm excited about that. So that's more of a short term, long term private banking move.
Got
Again,
it.
this is something that I wish I would have known 20 years ago, but I know it now.
You know it now, and you're gonna obviously teach your five girls in your household, and others as well in your community. So that is really awesome. Let me ask you, as a business owner, have you ever attended any business seminars, workshops, conferences, networking events? And if so, do you have any tips or anything you'd like to add in terms of like how to maximize that social interaction with people? The intention of when you're going to these events to increase your business. Anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, so locally, a couple years ago, when I first got the courage to spread my wings, I relied a lot on our local SCORE organization. Are you familiar with them?
Very familiar with Score. Yes, they've helped me in the past when I was just before I got started with my YouTube channel. So yeah.
Okay, so I went to SCORE. I went to all their events. It was on, some of them are free, some of them are like $10. I
Yeah.
learned a
Yeah.
lot about the importance of networking. And what you were speaking on before I tapped in is I'm a connector. So if I can connect you and Brad, that's fine. I don't want anything out of it. I just like to connect people because I believe that we, to use one of your words, we live in a world of abundance. There's no scarcity. And so I believe that energy, money is energy, and so are relationships. So I'm constantly trying to connect people, not trying, I constantly connect people. And I would say when you're going to a networking event, go with the positive attitude, go with your business cards, or go with your cell phone so you can share contact information, and look at ways in which you can provide value. Don't look at ways in which you can extract and sell your idea and meet so many such people. Look at how you can provide value and let that be your focus. And what happened to you when the person hooked you up with those connections? That is a byproduct of how the universe works. I would also say is be very intentional. I was fortunate to have a Tony Robbins coach for 2 years. Tony's
Nice.
coaches focus on results, right? And part of results is being organized, having lots of gratitude, being organized in thought and action, and being accountable. So when I met with my coach every week, it was more so, okay, what did you do that you said you were going to do? What are some things you didn't do? What are some things you did that you didn't even know you were going to do? And what are you going to do next time? It's a documentation of your forward motion. I think those are some great tips for anyone to follow in their business life or professional or personal life.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Barry. Thank you for tuning in. I'm gonna give the floor to Brad to maybe add in or chime in, see if you'd like to say anything, and we're gonna keep it going. So really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Hey, Brad.
Well, thank you,
Hey,
Denzel. I will
yeah, great.
to listen from afar. Take care, Brad and Denzel.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, great to meet you, and great great points that you bring up. I think the whole thing about networking and just one of the mindsets that I try to have as I'm doing it is just that whole concept of givers gain. When I was in the corporate world, I was a member of Business Networking International for a lot of years, and it was much more locally based networking type of organization. But the people that did the best, the Pareto's principle, the 80-20 rule, 20% of the people in any event are really the ones that produce 80% of the results. So as long as you're, kind of going in with that gain mindset. Even to the point where, you're not sure what the benefit is going to be to you, but you're just going in, trying to make those connections and trying to serve and help other people. I mean, I think that's really that's where the gold is. And I've always gotten a lot out of networking just by having that, that mindset myself.
Awesome. I like it. I like it. So let's direct our attention to the board in the third portion here. And here are just these are fun things, but they really result in just so much really great, authentic relationships that can be $1 million partnerships 6 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now. You don't know how long you're going to be on planet Earth. So making that first impression is so key. So something that I've recently did at the previous conference that I was at, I came in with a do not sell mentality. No matter what, I'm not going to sell anybody anything. I'm just going to talk to people. I'm going to share with people what I do, how I do it, where I do it, etc. And then each day I'm going to invite people to dinner. Now, I've got a little etiquette rule that I have for myself, and those of you can follow this as well if you create the budget for it, which is if you're going to invite someone to dinner, you cover the bill, okay? So if you're going to invite somebody to dinner, I believe it's only right to at least make the offer to cover the bill. And if they say, no, I got it, I can handle it, okay, great, I won't push too hard. But typically, I like to approach with that. It sets a very good first impression in terms of how you value that person's time, that person's energy, that person's attention. When you do something like that, you invite them to dinner. Okay, you connected with somebody at the 10 a.m. session, at the 12 p.m. session, during lunch. You said they were, you thought they were really great. And then in the hallway, coming back to the room or whatever, you're like, hey, let's go to dinner. Are you doing anything this evening? I'd like to take you out. Awesome. Yes? Great. Let's go. So invite people to dinner. That's, roughly 2 hours, sometimes maybe 3 hours of networking. And I'll give you a story. And this was just a pure fun. This is pure fun because that's another goal that everybody should have when they come to FinCon 2021. Have fun. I'm already seeing the emails. I'm seeing the energy from the host, people that are hosting FinCon and working it. I'm seeing this energy of like, this can potentially be, a bit of fun. So I'll give you a quick story. I was at the Vault here in Hollywood area, South Florida. And we were staying at the Diplomat Hotel. This was only 1,000 people. I think FinCon's gonna be more than that. So this is a 1,000-person event with tables in rows like this, right? So while we're at the event, the host, Patrick Bet-David, every couple hours or so, he does a case study. And for 15 minutes, you gotta turn your chair around, look at the person behind you, and you're in groups of 4, and you discuss a case that he presents around business, right? Turn my chair around. I turn around. Behind me are a commercial real estate investor, gentleman, and then a lady has over 230,000 followers on Instagram. She gives me her name, her Instagram. I look at it, I'm like, holy crap. This person's got almost a quarter million subs on followers on Instagram. That's awesome. And so it's a couple. So I think they were married. I'm not sure. These people were from Jersey, and I could hear the New York. I heard the accents already, the up north accent, and that's when mine started to come out. I'm originally from Queens, New York. My accent is damn near gone, but I do know how to turn it on when the moment's right. And in that moment, it was right. Because then later that evening we got some mojitos at the bar after the event was over at the hotel. And then they invited me to dinner. I had my girlfriend with me, staying in the hotel. I said, babe, we're going out. And we went to this Cuban restaurant, and there was another couple. So it was 6 of us total. I had the craziest laughs. I mean, I have not laughed like that around strangers and God knows how long. I can't tell you how relieving it was to just be in person with people. We're drinking mojitos. We're having nice Cuban food. Bunch of, Spanish, all Spanish people around us. We got Cubans, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Guatemalans. Like, it was just an awesome, and we're just cracking up. Mind you, I'm 25 years old. My girlfriend's 23. And the couples that we were with, they were in their, I think, late 30s, mid 40s. So they're about almost double our age. But I mean, just the connections, the laughter. You get a couple of mojitos in you, you start opening up. You know what I mean? So it was a ton of fun. And with that, that right there was like 50, 100. It was a priceless moment, couple hours to, you know, it simply started with inviting people to dinner, and it resulted in a hilarious night. They were hugging me the next day. They were just awesome. Next tip I would say is fly in the day before. Get your hotel situated. Be well rested. Possibly go to the hotel lobby, and you can typically, walk around the event before it starts. That's what I typically do. Is a lot of these convention centers, big networking events are usually there's a hotel connected to it, usually, right? And so what happens is if you're staying at the hotel, the convention center, the big ballroom or whatever, is usually a bit of a ways from the hotel rooms, right? Because you got to keep the noise, right, away. So what I like to do is I will walk to the convention center, check the ballroom, what floor is it on, what room. I don't get lost, right? Because getting lost sucks, when you're trying to like rush in the morning. So I chart my path, right? And while I'm there, I see maybe there's some early FinConners that are hanging around, and I can, talk to them. I look for merch. Usually people wear a FinCon hat, FinCon shirt, whatever it is, especially people that are veterans, people that have gone to FinCon multiple times. You usually can tell, oh, that person looks like they know what they're doing. So you go over there, you ask a couple questions, right? You can even talk to the staff. Most people never talk to the staff at these events and don't realize that those can be potential clients, potential relationships as well. I'm always like, any chance I get to say thank you to the security officer protecting us while we have a wonderful event, and he or she is out there just, you know, standing the gates, making sure everything's fine. Every time I go to the bathroom, hey, thank you for what you're doing. Hey, thank you for what you're doing. Hey, love what you're doing. Thank you. And sometimes you might spark a conversation, especially before the doors actually open. You get there early, right, before the doors open. I start having a conversation with the security officer, the food staff people, or someone that's just manning the coffee station, the snacks, whatever it is, right? These people are constantly moving around with they got the radios in, they're listening, they're working. But I'm always saying, hey, thanks for what you're doing, appreciate it. You never know what that can result into, so that's cool. Very, very cool. Fly in the day before, leave one day after. Again, that's according to budget, right? And I do recommend to wear merch. Usually, something like a FinCon or a Vault or a Grant Cardone event, usually they're selling merch. And people that have attended the previous ones, they might have a FinCon 2018 shirt or a 2019 shirt or a 2012 shirt. And those are really cool to keep an eye out for. And so if you buy some merch, you can also get spotted by other people that can potentially spark a conversation in the elevator, at the pool, right? A lot of different things. So it's really, really cool overall. And I also do recommend people to stay in the same hotel unless you are finessing like Brad with points and travel hacking. The guy just told me that he's roughly going to spend $1,000 total, whereas myself, I'm probably going to spend double that, because obviously there's some more I can learn on the whole travel.
I'm not trying to flex, man. I'm sorry.
I think that was a flex. That was a low-key flex.
Frugality flex.
Yeah. So that's really cool. I love it. When you said it, I said no. But then you were like the points. So
Oh
really,
yeah.
you've really eliminated the travel and the hotel costs, because if you would have stayed on site,
Oh yeah.
it's a Hilton,
Oh
and
yeah. Totally.
even as I'm a diamond, top of the member at Hilton, and it was still coming in at around I think 1,400. I think I spent, maybe
Yeah.
less, maybe less. I didn't use my points. I should have, but I didn't use them. I'm still racking them up for another vacation I'm going to be going to, for Vegas. But still, nonetheless, you made a conscious decision to say, you know what, let me stay at this hotel over here and pay roughly 50% less than everybody else. I don't mind doing the walk back and forth, or quick Uber ride, no problem at all. And that's cool too, is just make sure that those who do that, make sure you get up a little extra early, have your coffee, have your breakfast, have your tea, whatever it is, so that you can be at the event on time. You don't ever want to miss a moment when you're at these events, because they go by like that. They go by so fast. So with that being said, anything on the networking side, any other tips, hacks, tricks, strategies that you have in mind personally, when you arrive at FinCon, anything you'd like to add there?
No, I think I just really would buttress, everything that you're saying in terms of, show up, be a student, be a sponge, be there to share, and just try to make friends. I mean, we're setting up this meetup, this FinCon YouTubers meetup, and the first prerequisite is that you're looking to make friends. The second prerequisite is that potentially what could come out of that are some meaningful collaborations. So yeah, I'm like I said, this is my first one, so I'm really looking forward to. I've heard a lot of great things about it, and I'm just really looking forward to being, having feet on the ground and meeting many, many more people like Denzel, and I think that perhaps when my revenue, reaches the level of your revenue, Denzel, I might go ahead and splurge on the Hilton. So, well, that'll be an aspirational goal for next year.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. There are some things that I stopped paying attention to.
Get that. I
But
mean, why wouldn't you?
yeah, it's all within your parameters of focus. Like
Right.
no matter what, I still will get my points. I'll get my rewards,
Right.
but I'm at a stage where I try to make it as convenient and easy as of a process as possible to maximize my experience overall. Whereas, let's say you're someone that's just starting out in your business, haven't even broke 5 figures yet or 6 figures, you're going to want to listen to some of the things that Brad is saying,
Yeah.
because he's like, look, there's a freaking hotel right here, same experience, right? Because that's the thing with these big conferences, you're going to be paying
Yeah.
$7 for a bottle of water. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be ridiculous, right?
Mhm.
So you stay at another hotel right here, and you do the work. You do that extra legwork. You get up extra early in the morning. You leave later. Um, you make it happen within your budget, because you can absolutely make it happen. Look what Brad just said. He's gonna spend about $1,000 because he racked up points. He's using cards. He's getting cashback rewards or points or miles, and he coordinated, he did the extra research to find a hotel that's still within, either walking distance to make it to the event and still have a wonderful experience. And my girlfriend is beating me up. She said I forgot her age. I called her 23 instead of 24. I messed that up. So I'm in the doghouse for tonight, unfortunately. But I'm gonna make it up, right? Because she knows I can make things up, and she'll forgive me. But with that being said, I'm seeing a couple of comments. Let's see. Hazel says, "What is this convention about?" Hello, Hazel, again. So this is a financial and digital media event. So you're going to have YouTubers, influencers, TikTokers, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, podcasters, all coming together, and most of the topics are around money. It'll either be strictly money concepts, money strategies, cryptocurrency, investments, FIRE community, or it'll be something like money management, money discipline, money mindset, different talks. So they have a whole host of speakers. And what's really cool is, and very few events do it like this. You have to have great coordination for this to work successfully. The event runs like on an every hour, on the hour there's a topic, right? And within that hour you'll have about maybe 3 to 4 different sessions going on. So Brad's going to go to the event, and let's say Brad is wanting to focus on scaling up and growing his YouTube community. Let's say that's his focus. Well, he's going to go on the FinCon app. There's a FinCon app that you can download. There's the whole schedule, and he can cater FinCon 2021 according to what he wants to learn. Versus someone like myself, I can cater it to what I want to learn. Maybe there are some specific CRMs that are out there, some new technologies to, increase profitability within the company, within my business, increase lead generation. There's so many different topics that I can cater it exactly to how I want. Or you can say, I am a big fan of, I don't know how to say his name. I'm going to try to say it's Jasprit Singh. He has a YouTube channel called Minority Mindset, I think is the name of his channel.
Yep.
Let's say you're a huge fan of him. Well, you're going to cater your event to make sure you attend his sessions and be where he's at or where he's likely to be at. You can basically follow him all around if that's someone that you really want to connect with and build a relationship with. There's another big YouTuber, His or Her Money. They're going to be at the event, attending the event. They're not speaking. They've spoken in the past. They're actually going to attend it. I got to speak. I got to, an opportunity to chat with them. And so I'm super excited to, rub shoulders with somebody that's, 200,000 plus subscribers, I think.
Yeah.
And then there's another girl on Instagram. Her name is Sharon something. I don't know how to say her last name. I think it's Sharon and she does like real estate investing. And I've seen her put out some content about FinCon, the previous one, and that she's going to be at this one this year. So I'm going to keep my eye out and I'll be looking for her so I can connect with her because my girlfriend follows her as well. So I'm like, I want to make sure I make that connection. So you do your work in advance, right? FinCon is September 22nd to the 25th. So we got a couple weeks. You can still buy a ticket. Either you can buy a virtual ticket or you can buy the in-person ticket and connect with guys like myself and Brad. Meet us there at the event. Invite us to dinner, right? Take us out, Hey, let's network and then see how it goes. So I'm super pumped up about what's happening here. Let me look at some more questions. When is FinCon? I just went over that. So September 22nd to the 21st. Let's see any other questions. Let's see. Denzel, you need to look into getting the Hilton Premium Amex card. The sign-up bonus alone would have covered your hotel stay, and it comes with diamond status. Yeah, I think you're referring to the business one. I have the Hilton Amex, the personal one that does not have an annual fee. I still haven't crossed that bridge yet. Let me get your opinion on that, Brad. With annual fee in the neighborhood of like 400 to 500. Do you use those cards?
I haven't done one of those just yet. We've been since I pivoted from, corporate America into this, we've been still, in that posture of, frugality and just kind of watching every penny and everything. Part of the problem for me also is that I'm kind of blacklisted from those cards because I've I've basically wrung all the value out of them that I can, and so they won't let me reapply for any of them anymore. So I'm not sure that they would even offer it to me, but I think that there can be value there, depending on how you're going to use them, because there are other ancillary benefits like TSA pre-check and some other like laundry list of things that if you really squeeze the value out of the card, you can more than get the value that you're spending on the annual fee. But I mean, yeah, as a matter of, I would have to, be able to very clearly justify that,
Yeah.
and on paper to do that, even no matter what stage I'm at,
Right.
honestly.
Yeah. I feel like I'm at a
Right.
really good money stage in my life, and I still haven't like made sense of paying
Right.
495, $500 a year to
Right.
maintain a card. I feel like I have to be a little more aware and focused on the card, where all my other
Yes.
business cards that I have, I don't have to think. I know I'm getting
Yeah.
points. I know I'm racking it up.
Right. And that's like I've moved into more of a passive travel hacking mode now, precisely for those reasons. I'm so focused on a lot of the minutia and strategy, tactics, and minutia of my business right now, and moving that to the next level, and that necessarily pulls me away from just getting in the weeds with travel hacking, maybe like I was doing a few years ago.
Awesome, awesome. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap up here. Brad, I want to say thank you so much for hanging out. I know this is way past your bedtime, so I want to respect it. I want to respect your time. I'm gonna let people look at the board one more time. I'm gonna close out the room on Clubhouse here. All right, and give people a couple more seconds to take a look at the board. Here are the tips that we went over. And if there's anything else that you guys want to add for those that watch the replay, you can comment below. Again, you can check out Brad's channel. I'm actually gonna, what I'll do is I'm gonna comment in the comment section and then put it in the description of his YouTube channel. And you can check out his channel. It's called Zero Debt Coach. Primarily, you're on Facebook, right? I mean, you're on YouTube and Facebook, right? Is that your two
Yep.
primary
Yeah, we have a
platforms?
private Facebook group called Zero Debt Tribe as well.
Got it.
Yeah. So, but primarily YouTube and my blog is where I push content out. So that strategy has changed fairly recently. But yeah, YouTube is kind of the main channel, I think.
I like it. I like it. And I like your approach, which is you're coaching people as a financial coach, but then you're also adding that element of starting a business. So you're
Yes.
also attacking the
Yes.
increasing income. So for those
Right.
that are watching that are looking for something like that, that's not necessarily what I cover on the business building side and even the coaching side. I'm more of a strategist and a consultant, and I've been building my coaching abilities and skills. So in the meantime, I recommend checking out Brad and what he's doing with Zero Debt Coach. And I'm getting synergy vibes from Brad as well, where
Yeah.
he's taking the best of Dave Ramsey, and
Yep.
he's taking the best of, say, maybe the fire community, and the best of travel hacking community and life hacking and credit cards and leverage, and he's kind of putting something together. And I really like people who do that, because we're in the 21st century. Uh,
We are well into it.
you used to get 6% and up on CDs, savings
Oh,
accounts,
yeah.
bonds. That was then. Now we're in an environment where inflation is roughly 3 and even could be as high as
Oh, yeah.
4% or
Yeah.
higher.
Oh,
Inflation,
yeah.
just
Yeah.
inflation alone.
Yeah.
Taxes are higher. Taxes are higher. Cost of living is going up astronomically. And so we've got to figure out new strategies and combine it with principle to maximize our dollars and really have a stronger purchasing power, whether that's
Yeah.
through Bitcoin, through gold, through silver, because paper cash is it's dead, right?
Hmm.
Cash is
Hmm.
trash, like what Ray
Yeah.
Dalio says, and that's a
Hmm.
bold statement.
Right.
So being able to say, okay, well, if cash is trash, well, this credit card is giving me 3% back on all my purchases. That can somewhat offset my inflation cost in cost of living a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that can put us in a really good position. So with that being said, any closing thoughts, closing remarks, Brad, before we close out? Anything you want to share?
I just really appreciate, the fact that we got to connect and got to do this. It's really been great. Just hanging out with you and your audience. And, I tend to think of these live when I'm doing my live events, I guess. I really think of it as I try to cram a lot into a little bit, and I really a little bit of time. And so I really appreciate sort of the relaxed sort of hangout environment here. And it's just been it's been very fun, and I actually have learned a lot. You've given me a lot of insight and a lot of food for thought to take away, especially for this FinCon event. And I'm really looking forward to that. And hopefully we'll meet some of the people in your audience as well, and just let us know how we can help you guys.
Awesome. With that being said, God bless everyone. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you, Brad, once again
Thank you,
for
Denzel.
giving
Yes,
your time. Bye, everyone.
my pleasure. Thank you. We'll see you soon.
Awesome. Bye.
I remember you saying, hey, I know something's there, like with this policy design, as you were digging into it, really from the consumer side.
I guess you could say there wasn't a big amount of creators on YouTube that were focusing on velocity banking, personal finance, things like that.
Like you said, it doesn't matter who you get the information from, as long as you get the information and you take action. That's all that we ask at the end of the day, so that you can build wealth for your family and your family's family.
Hey, here's a taste. Now, if you're feeling it at all, then go take a deeper dive. Go start doing your research. Start listening and learning about this whole concept